So guys, today we have a special kind of video. This will be similar but different to my original breakdown of the gameplay reveal we got from Marvel Spider-Man 2. We won't just be talking specifically about just like that gameplay reveal, but as well just more general about Marvel Spider-Man 2 and as well 3, if that does end up happening of course, and what we are expecting and trying to like dissect things that we have had revealed in the gameplay trailer. But today I'm not by myself, I'm actually with a fellow content creator. You guys might know him. I think some of my subscribers watch him. He mainly does fan fictions and stuff like that. Sometimes he reports on news as well. Today we are actually with Arachno Crawler. Say what's up, man.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good, not too bad. Super excited to have this discussion with you. So this is going to be part 2 of the discussion between me and Arachno Crawler. The first part will be on his channel if you want the full thing, so either you can go to his channel, watch his part first, then come back to this video so it's in order, or watch this one, then go to his. Also as well, to anybody who is coming from Arachno Crawler's channel and checking this video out and giving any support to my channel or this video in general, thank you so much, very appreciated. But yeah, with that, let's get into it. Oh, speaking of Mary Jane, what exactly do you want out of like Peter and MJ and like the symbiote, but also as well, like what do you hope for, like just in general, Pete and MJ's relationship by the end of the game?
It is a difficult one because I feel like after Miles Morales, they're really starting to enjoy being together. It doesn't seem so much like a lot of drama at the end of Miles Morales, but it seems kind of happy. But I do feel like the symbiote's gonna put that to the test. But I don't want, any of the relationship drama. I feel like it'd be important for Peter to realize his mistakes, but I don't want it to be a big focus. I feel like it should be more on Peter and Miles' relationship and how the symbiote affects that. But as for the Mary Jane thing, I feel like she's going to be pretty busy with what she's doing with the news reporting and stuff like that. And we know that she's got a book from the comic. I don't know. Because I know that Peter wanted her to move in with him to help pay the rent, but I don't think she wanted to. So maybe that...
Yeah, because she wanted to stay in the city for her job,
Yeah, so maybe... I don't know. I don't feel like they're going to be together really at the start of the game. And maybe he kind of does push her away, or maybe he does say something that hurts her feelings. But I feel like by the end, I think they're going to move in together, because it was pretty extravagant in that Prelude comic that he wanted her to move in. And I feel like the ending is finally going to, rectify that and give Peter and MJ really what they do want, which is, to be happy together, because they are getting older in this story.
Yeah. So ultimately, I hope like by the end, just as far as like Peter and MJ, I hope that Pete proposes. I think that would be cool. They nice. Got married. Or would that be too soon? Maybe like I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know if it'd be too soon, because we know they've known each other for like saying at least a decade now in this story. It is a difficult one though, because it's sort of, how can you explore that in a video game, them getting married?
Yeah.
And in terms of the story, if this is going to be a 2-part story with Venom and Kraven in this game, and then Green Goblin coming in hot and heavy for the third one, possibly, or even this one, you've got to think, where is that marriage or that wedding going to fit into the game? Is that what the actual ambition is for the end of the story, is to finally give them that happy ending? But to me, I don't feel like in this story, Peter and MJ's relationship is... I feel like it's a focus. Yeah, I don't think it's that prevalent in this story. I feel like
there's like other things,
I feel like Insomniac have heard what we said about the stealth missions, and in retaliation to that, they're moving MJ to the city, keeping her maybe out of the way a little bit, and just letting it focus on Peter and Miles and their story.
Yeah. So actually about that, let's talk a little bit actually about the plot leak again. I don't think this is like, I don't know, I don't really think this is spoiler, especially because like we already got a reveal of Venom. We know Venom's going to be in the game, which we'll actually get to who we think it is in a minute. But in the plot leak, it was mentioned that instead of the stealth missions, we're going to be actually apparently playing as Eddie Brock, which I think is interesting because obviously, you know, like we've been playing as Peter and Miles and as like their respective Spider-Man, but I think it's an interesting idea to maybe, you know, like play as someone who is not a superhero, but like witnessing them, and especially someone who may not be as like fond of them.
Well, I actually did have an idea about that. So we know at the end of the comic that Jameson has bought the Daily Bugle. He's bought the newspaper. So we know that MJ, I think she did work for the Bugle, and I know that she's kind of not necessarily on the best terms with Jonah at the end of the comic, but maybe, you know, I was saying maybe Peter works with Norman and Kurt, but maybe he gets a job back at the Bugle taking photos. In doing so, meets Eddie Brock again. We get introduced to Eddie Brock into the story, and those missions where we play as Eddie Brock instead of the MJ stealth missions, we could actually get like photography missions. So we're sent by Jameson, we're playing as Eddie Brock, and we're sent to go take photos of Spider-Man or something else. And in doing so, I feel like Eddie's going to go to a place where he's not meant to be, and he's maybe going to get the symbiote. But in doing so, we're going to also have to establish some drama or some kind of rivalry between Peter and Eddie in these scenes, or it's not going to work. We can't just introduce Eddie, have him be a good guy like he is in the Tom Hardy movies. He needs to be a bit of a dick, or it's not going to work.
Yeah, I think it would work if they had Pete return to the Bugle for like a couple of reasons. One, obviously, because you know, just like in general, like Eddie and Venom, but also as well where he's at in this story, because in the comic it was said that he like took over Aunt May's house or whatever, so he's trying to pay it off, I think, and that will probably be touched upon in the game. So with that, and also with like the context of like Marvel Spider-Man, the first one, he was he had like an apartment, but he got evicted, you know, because he wasn't able to pay his bills with like, you know, auto and stuff like that. So with that, he needs quick cash. Quick cash can be acquired from him taking photos at the Bugle like he used to. So I think that story beat makes a lot of sense and would work well.
What I feel like they could do is, you know, we could touch upon that moment that was in the comics of Peter asking MJ to move in with him. She says no. Peter's then like, well, I need to find cash or this is not going to work. Maybe picks up a newspaper saying that, oh, Jameson has bought the Bugle. Maybe I'll go back and work for him. He goes to the Bugle, introduces himself back to, you know, Betty Brant, Jameson, Robertson, and then he meets Eddie Brock. And even though Eddie Brock signed that card for him, maybe there's still a bit of a rivalry. Maybe Peter got a job that Eddie wanted, kind of like the Spider-Man 3 movie. Something's going to have to have happened for them to... They can't just start disliking each other. I feel like if we establish that maybe there already kind of is a rivalry between them, even if it's kind of a friendly one, and then it slowly starts to turn sour. Maybe Peter's getting more jobs than Eddie. He's getting more money. I feel like that could work.
Yeah. I think like the hardest part about like in general Peter and Eddie is the rivalry between just like Peter and Eddie specifically. Like Peter and Spider-Man, or no, not Peter and Spider-Man. Spider-Man and Eddie, like that's pretty easy to do. But yeah, as far as like Eddie and Pete, that's a little bit more complicated because like there's a few different routes they can go, but they have to execute it correctly. And like whether or not they take inspiration from the Ultimate Comics or just like Spectacular Spider-Man in general, where they were actually childhood friends, or you know, they don't take inspiration from that and like they were never really childhood friends, could definitely impact that a lot.
I feel they are doing a little bit of a bait and switch. I think they're all thinking Harry's going to be Venom, but I think maybe at the start, possibly, maybe they could do a thing where like, you know, he gets the symbiote, it starts working, they bring him out the chamber, we know that's what Norman wanted, and then maybe he turns up out of nowhere at the start of the game and he's like, yo, what's up, Pete, MJ, let's just carry on where we left off. And Peter's like, this isn't right. You know, we know that you've been dying. What's been going on with you? And maybe it's sort of gets unfolded like that. I don't really know what they're gonna. I don't think Harry's going to be the main threat at all. I feel the most plausible ones are either Peter's going to be Venom and Miles has to fight him, or it's going to be Eddie Brock. I don't think Harry's going to be the main Venom by the end. If he is, then he's going to have a reason, really. And also, like, why is he doing it? Like, the symbiote is obviously going to find more strength in Peter or in Eddie than he is in Harry, because Harry's literally dying. He's not going to have that much strength in him.
Yeah. I didn't think about that, actually. Yeah, that's actually a really good point. But I think it would make the most sense if maybe like Peter became Venom for like a very short period of time.
Yeah.
And maybe like Miles fights him or something, and then eventually Eddie gets the symbiote and becomes like the final Venom for like the final like act of the game. And also, like, I'm just not a fan of the idea that, like just in general, Harry being Venom. I just don't think that's a good idea. And someone tried to argue with me in one of my comment sections. Like, it can work because like Eddie and Spectacular Spider-Man, they were childhood best friends or whatever. Yeah. And Peter and Eddie. Peter and Harry are best friends as well, but I disagree with that because I think Peter and Eddie's relationship is very different versus Peter and Harry's relationship. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
Ultimately, I think like anything's possible. Anything can be done if done correctly, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I think like everyone wants a more comic accurate Venom, and also I think that's what Insomniac is going for, a more comic accurate Venom. But the thing is, like, how are they going to do that while also surprising us? So I think Harry's just like the curveball they're throwing us.
Insomniac know what they're doing. They did the exact same thing for Doc Ock, and they tried to do the same thing for Tinkerer. They, you know, who's it going to be? Was it we thought it was going to be Yuri. It was Miles's friend. They know what they're doing in terms of story. They know how to trick us. They know how to deceive us with this sort of stuff. Definitely. And I think they know that we know Harry is not the best choice for Venom. It works in terms of the story and how they're setting that up, but I feel it's going to be paid off pretty quickly with Harry maybe becoming a version of Venom. I don't think he's actually going to be the full-on Venom with the teeth and everything. Just like we know Peter doesn't become Venom, he gets like a black version of the suit. Maybe it just heals Harry, or maybe it's just like a little suit or something, because it's not going to have any of the spider abilities. It's not going to have the eyes or the logo or anything. It hasn't bonded with Peter yet.
Yeah,
so there's no.
He's the first person with it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no way before Peter gets it that Harry can become Venom, because it won't have even like met Peter yet. But I don't know. I feel like Harry's going to get rid of it pretty quickly, and Peter's going to be like, all right, we need to take this, we need to get rid of it, and we need to study it. Maybe Kurt takes it then back to his home. Raven's after it or something. Kurt's like, you know, you need to get the symbiote out of there because it's dangerous or whatever. And then it ends up bonding with Peter and getting the spider abilities. I don't think it's then going to go back to Harry. I feel like Harry is going to have something else to do. Maybe I don't know, maybe Norman does something with him or something. But I feel like then after it's with Peter, it's probably going to go to Eddie Brock. I don't think Harry's going to be Venom in this story.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. But also as well, something I wanted to touch upon is, so like they've so far revealed Kraven, they've revealed Lizard already, and they obviously revealed Venom. So with that, I guess we can look at this from two angles. Do we think like kind of like Doc Ock, like similar like curveball that they threw us is going to be either like who's Venom, or do we think like the curveball is like someone completely different, like maybe Green Goblin?
See, the thing is they've already give us that, and I don't think they want to be known for this formula of there's going to be a secret villain. Who's it going to be?
Yeah.
I don't think they want to be known to do that. I feel like they're going to switch it up, and they're going to have, I feel like the main one is going to be, it's going to be Venom, Kraven, and Lizard. Those are going to be the main 3 villains. With Lizard, probably not so much, but Venom and Kraven, yeah. I feel like for the first half, Kraven is going to be the main villain, kind of like Martin Lee. And then after Kraven's defeated, that's when it's going to move into the Venom storyline for the final act. And then I think at the very end, in the post-credit scene, we're going to finally get that tease for Green Goblin. I don't think we're going to be getting him in this game. I feel like there's way too much going on. I know Norman could be angry that, you know, Harry wasn't saved or whatever. Maybe Harry will die. I don't really know what's going to happen. But I feel like it's way too crammed into the story for Norman to become the Goblin. Unless you've got lots and lots of backstory and scenes with him throughout the game, it's not going to work. And I would rather have a full game dedicated to Norman's slow turn into becoming the Goblin.
I see where you're coming from. What do you think about Carnage? Do you think that's possible in this game, or do you think that would be for the 3rd game? I personally think it would be really cool if we got 2 different post-credit scenes, one of Norman teasing like the Goblin, and one teasing Carnage, because I don't know if you know this Spider-Man character, but in the comics, I forgot where it was, Norman became the Red Goblin at one point with like it's basically Green Goblin merged with the Carnage symbiote. And I think that would be super fucking cool as a boss battle. Like, that would go so crazy. I think, at least.
Well, there's kind of 2 thought processes, really. It's one, does Insomniac want to do another symbiote storyline after this, or do they want to keep things kind of, you know, new and fresh and interesting to people not really want? Maybe they'll fight Venom in this game and then be like, all right, that was cool, but I want to get more to Green Goblin or something like that. There's 2 ways of thinking about it. There's one, they might not want to do another symbiote story, and 2, we could get us a post-credit scene. Eddie's been defeated after being Venom. He feels he's lost the symbiote or whatever. He goes to Ravencroft, and his cellmate is Cletus Cassidy. That could how they do that. But then in that, you're gonna have to bring Eddie Brock back, which means maybe bringing Venom back in the 3rd game. And I feel like they'd be retreading maybe some of the stuff that's going on in this game. I'm not really sure if Carnage is the route they're going for, personally.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on possibly there being like a superior Spider-Man setup for Spider-Man 3? Because obviously, you know, Doc Ock is in prison right now, but we did get that like kind of hint or like a tease at the end of the first Marvel Spider-Man game, that scene like kind of hinting like, you know, he's gonna come back. And with that, you read Superior Spider-Man, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I think maybe they could be possibly setting up like the whole Goblin Nation thing for Spider-Man 3. I think that could be interesting too, and especially because like with the whole Goblin Nation thing, like there was essentially like Norman had his own like army or whatever, and you know, like Insomniac kind of has that formula with like their enemies and like different enemy types, like how Kraven has like his hunters in Marvel Spider-Man 2, and also like in the first game, you know, they had the demons, they had just regular criminals, they had what else? I'm trying to think.
The prisoners as well.
Yeah. And also in the DLC, they had Hammerhead's guys, and then they had Hammerhead's guys with tech. So I wonder if like they'll go that route for Spider-Man 3. I think that would be cool.
I feel like, so Otto is in prison. I feel like what they're gonna do is Peter in this game, it has the Octavius role. He's the mentor this time around to Miles, you know, just like Otto was to Peter. I feel like Peter's gonna want some guidance, maybe some advice on what to do. He's gonna maybe go visit Octavius from time to time at Ravencroft and be like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm struggling. Do I save Kurt? Do I save Harry? What am I supposed to do with Miles? I don't really know how to mentor him anymore or something like that. I feel like he's going to go to Octavius. And maybe Otto's going to play this more Jacqueline Hyde character. Or Jacqueline Hyde, I can't remember how you pronounce it. But he's going to appear to Peter as like, oh, you know, I'm feeling so much better. You know, if you want to do this is how you're supposed to. He's going to give him advice. But then I feel like we're going to be setting up something more. That end scene when he gets locked up in prison and he's sort of just like, I don't know, it's kind of just like, that I feel that's setting up something. But again, it could be a bait and switch. We can't tell what Insomniac's going to do.
Yeah, sometimes they're kind of unpredictable.
Yeah. So what are your like overall thoughts on everything? And, you know, before we go, is there really anything else that you wanted to mention?
What do you hope for as far as like mechanics and like just gameplay wise?
Mechanics, they got everything down that I wanted. I wanted web gliding and slingshot and stuff like that. It looks like they've already got that down. So mechanics,
I'm so happy for the slingshot. That shit's so cool.
Yeah, I think everything in terms of gameplay they've nailed for me. Everything I wanted, they've done. I was debating whether I wanted it to be co-op, just because I feel like this is Peter's story, just like Miles had his story. I don't see what the difference could have been. You know, why wasn't Peter playable in Miles' story? Because it was Miles' story. This is Peter's, and we've kind of got the co-op. We can play as Miles, and I feel like the way they've done that, being able to play as Peter and then seamlessly transition into Miles and vice versa, that looks really cool in gameplay. They've done that really good. In terms of mechanics and stuff, they've got everything nailed down. In terms of the story, I don't know, man. I don't really want Harry to be Venom. That's my only thing that I'm hoping for, is that it's going to be someone else. I'm hoping that they also don't shove in Green Goblin. Maybe tease him for the next one. That'd probably be best. I'm also hoping there's no multiverse stuff, because I know that was a rumor at the time.
Yeah, that was a rumor. There was like a rumor that apparently there will be like a multiverse related post-credit scene, which I wouldn't mind, as I think the ideal thing to do would be maybe have like a post-credit scene for a multiverse thing, but have that spin off into like a Miles game. Maybe I think that could work if they do the multiverse thing.
The thing is I don't think that we need this version of Spider-Man to go across the multiverse. He's going to be in Across the Spider-Verse. He's already been in Spider-Geddon in the comics, which is canon, I think, to the story. He's in Across the Spider-Verse. I don't think we need any more multiversal stuff, because this version of the character is going through a very specific grounded story. He's going through Kraven and Venom and stuff, and then Norman's being set up. There's already so many stories that need to be told with this version of Spider-Man, maybe before all the multiverse stuff. I don't feel like it could be an amazing game, because we know, like, with Shattered Dimensions and stuff, it is great, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's something this version of the character needs to really be a part of.
Fair enough. Understandable.
Although it would be cool, though. I can't lie. But
yeah, it would be cool. I do see where you're coming from. It kind of can be a little unnecessary, just due to like everything that's like going on in the universe and stuff like that.
Because it feels like every time we see Spider-Man now, it's got to include like a multiversal kind of thing. I don't think it needs to, really.
It's kind of crazy, because like when multiverse stuff was like first introduced in comics, like from what I remember, people like couldn't like get enough of that shit, and then but eventually like that shit just got tiring, and that stuff was like literally just recently introduced into like movies and just like video games and stuff, and everybody already seems to get sick of it, and it's kind of crazy like it hasn't even been that long.
I feel like Insomniac got lucky including both Peter and Miles without having to do the Spider-Verse. Just having them both on the same Earth was a great idea, and it includes both of them without having to go into the multiverse. And if you feel, I don't know, I don't think that we need a Spider-Gwen in this Spider-Man story. I don't think we need like a Miguel O'Hara in this story. I feel like what Peter and Miles have, their dynamic works really well. And if they really want to go like the Ultimate Comics route, we can have Peter die in the 3rd game or something, and then have Miles become his own Spider-Man and then go into the multiverse stuff. But I feel like for now, while Peter's alive, we don't really need to dive into the multiverse.
That I agree, actually. Do you got anything else you want to talk about? I don't think I have anything else that I can think of, at least off the top of my head.
No, I think we pretty much went through everything. I feel like we've had a pretty good discussion about.
Good discussion, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like we got through some good points and some concerns and stuff that we have, but I feel like it's going to be good. This game is definitely going to be, if it's not Game of the Year, then I feel like they have a bias towards not giving superhero games the Game of the Year.
Yeah, definitely. I think this game is gonna do some crazy fucking numbers and break some records, just like the first one did. Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. But yeah, I feel like we got through everything. I feel like we got some pretty good points down. Yeah, I don't really know anything else to really go over, to be honest.
I think that's pretty much it, yeah. So guys, that's the end of the discussion between me and Arachno Crawler. Really quick, to anyone again who came from his channel and is showing any form of love or support, I highly appreciate it. Thank you. But for anybody who has not heard of him or seen any of his content, I highly recommend checking it out. He has some pretty cool stuff on his channel. Like I said, he mainly does fan fictions. Sometimes he covers news, but his fan fictions are very interesting, and I know some of you guys do ask me to do that type of content, but sadly I just suck at it. So I recommend checking him out for some good fan fiction content. His channel will be in the description down below if you want to go check him out. So with that, what do you think of our discussion we had and some of the points me and Arachno Crawler had brought up? Make sure you comment your opinion down below so I can discuss all that with you in the comment section. Thank you for taking time out of your day to click on this video. If you're new to the channel, I cover Spider-Man related scoops, rumors, leaks, confirmations for the games, movies, TV shows, and I try to upload as much as I can. So if any of that interests you, hit the subscribe button. We're on the road to 2,000 subscribers. If you want more of this type of content, leave a like on the video. Don't forget to check out my latest video on the left if you haven't already. I hope you ever had a good day and that you enjoyed the video. Until next time.